First we have Naruto, who has to share his body with the nine-tailed fox. Then we get Ichigo, who has his body infected by his inner hollow. And now we have Uub, who is corrupted by Kid Buu.
Know your place, worm. Prepare yourself. Damn Saiyan.
So I'll be completely honest, I've never read Dragon Ball AF on my own, but I was inspired to make this video after seeing Expert Games' last video, which I've been a huge Expert Games fan for a long time. So yeah, I got inspired by his video on this chapter in Dragon Ball AF because this is something that I've been wanting in Dragon Ball for a very long time. So that's why I want to cover it and give it my own 2 cents. Now, I do feel that multiple content creators can cover the same topic because they all have different insights as to their thoughts, feelings, theories on whatever topic they're covering. So I'm just saying this before people start commenting that I'm copying Expert Games, which is something that I've gotten before, even though I totally am. Either way, the Dragon Ball fan manga community is extremely small, and as small as the already Dragon Ball community is, the Dragon Ball fan manga community is a niche in that community. There are only a few of us that really cover this sort of thing. I mean, just to give some shout outs here before I start the chapter, I mean, you got Expert Games, you got Techstar, you got Mondo Cool, Unreal End Gaming. Those are really the only ones that really come to mind right away. And of course, your boy Black. Anyway, just huge shout outs to those channels. Let's go ahead and jump into this chapter. So I know I'm starting disjointed in Dragon Ball AF by starting in chapter 9. Very similar to what I've done in Dragon Ball Multiverse, but again, I really don't want to just start at the very beginning of this one because this is a very long-running Dragon Ball fan manga. I want to start where I feel inspired to start at, and that is this chapter, because this chapter is phenomenal. Now, we do start this off with finding out that the Shadow Dragons have returned. Goku was keeping them locked away after he left with Shenron at the end of GT. He was using his energy, his influence himself to keep them locked away, but they ended up breaking free, and now we have brand new Shadow Dragons to deal with. And at the beginning of this chapter, we get Super Saiyan 3 Trunks facing off against one of them, and he is just making the Shadow Dragon his bitch. This guy really doesn't stand a chance, and it really pushes the narrative that Super Saiyan 3, this transformation is extremely powerful and by far one of my favorite transformations. I'm really sad that in Dragon Ball Super, it's been overshadowed mostly. But as powerful as this transformation is, it does drain a lot of stamina. So it's not something you can keep long term. And this Shadow Dragon seems to be under the assumption that at some point, he's going to let up, but Trunks is trying everything right now to destroy this guy with all the energy he has, even hitting him with a Buster Cannon, but this seems to drain his entire energy supply. He goes back to base form, and the dragon survived, but now the dragon knows the tables have turned. Trunks in his base form, even though he's weakened, even in his base form, he would still be no match for this dragon, so the dragon really wants to go ahead and kill Trunks, but right before Trunks bites the big one after a savage beating, Goten jumps in to save the day, and Goten just looks so freaking cool in this. He is wearing a gi reminiscent of Goku, and it looks like these two dudes have been training and just going at it for years. So I can't wait to read the rest of Dragon Ball AF because I am so excited with this chapter. And of course, the combination of both Trunks and Goten means that this dragon is going bye-bye, and he ends up blowing up into millions of pieces. Now we cut to Uub, and Uub is by himself fighting a Shadow Dragon of his own. This dude looks very comical. I think this is the weakest of the Shadow Dragons, if I'm not mistaken. So they gave Uub somebody that he can really contend with really easily, I guess. Uub's not really the strongest character. He wasn't even the strongest character in GT. I mean, he did fuse with Majin Buu and became Majin Uub, but he really wasn't very strong for very long. He kind of did the whole Ultimate Gohan thing where he was only strong for a little bit and then he was defeated. So Uub's one of those characters that you have high hopes for, similar to Gohan, but then really hasn't brought anything to the table. And when you compare him to even any of the Dragon Ball Super characters at this point, they are far stronger than him. And I'm only saying that because Dragon Ball Super is supposed to be before the end of Dragon Ball Z, if you guys didn't know that. Either way, Uub is trying everything that he can to damage this Shadow Dragon, but all his ki keeps dispersing, like right before he goes in for the kill, right before he goes in for whatever blast he's trying to deliver. And he's getting frustrated. This is not a normal Shadow Dragon. Apparently, he's got some sort of hacks, and of course, the Shadow Dragon is all cocky and tells him exactly what's going on. His negative energy is so strong that he disperses any positive energy that comes within like a 5-meter radius around him. And Uub is all positive energy. Remember, he is the reincarnation of Kid Buu, except the positive side, the good side. All he has is positive energy, and this Shadow Dragon has picked up on that. He claims that all Uub has is Justice energy, and this was a very bad matchup for him. Uub now realizes that he is at an extreme disadvantage, and the Shadow Dragon takes full advantage of that because he just delivers a beating that brings Uub to the edge. Uub really can't withstand this much attack, and the Shadow Dragon pulls out the finishing blow to try to kill Uub. After this blast makes contact, we dive into what seems to be Uub's head. Now, why do I love this? Because I'm a huge fan, especially in shonen, of demons living inside either the main protagonist or any character in the anime. I love that shit. I've loved it ever since Naruto had the nine-tailed fox. I loved it ever since Sasuke had the curse mark. I just love it. And this scene right here just reminds me so much of Naruto before he talks to the nine-tailed fox inside of him. And that's exactly what's going on. Uub believes that he is dead, but he's not. He is in the darkness inside himself. It looks like a vast, dark sea. Whatever negative energy connected him to Kid Buu past his reincarnation, apparently it flows right through him, through whatever crack the Shadow Dragon has created, and he explodes in evil intent. And this energy is so strong and recognizable that every Z fighter that can sense it realizes right away who this is. This is Majin Buu, guys. I made videos about this before I even watched Dragon Ball AF. This is the exact scenario that I wanted for Uub. I wanted him to have this darkness inside of him. I wanted him to have basically Kid Buu locked away, similar to the nine-tailed fox, and whenever he loses control, he gains a crazy amount of power. And I think it would make sense for him to be even able to contend with some of the characters of Dragon Ball Super with this power, because it's a combination of Kid Buu and Uub, and he goes crazy and doesn't know friend from foe, and he has to learn how to contain it. I mean, it is essentially like, again, Naruto and Ichigo, but at the same time, so what? It's cool. It's a cool concept, and I love the way it's used here, because even the way he looks is really cool. You could tell that he's Kid Buu, but he could tell that he still has Uub around him, and this Shadow Dragon is fucked because the positive energy that he was using before is all gone. This is all pure, unadulterated, negative energy, and it is so cool. Like, look at this scene right here. This is my favorite scene in this whole chapter. Look at it. Look at this art. Look at these drawings, man. It's so visceral, so much detail. Young Gigi outdid himself, and I am not boasting high enough to say that if Toyotaro ever puts up his pencil and decides to do something else, Young Gigi could be a viable candidate to continue with Dragon Ball Super, because this is fantastic. All his stories have this sort of realistic feel, and they are very reminiscent of Toyotaro's earlier stuff, where you know this is coming from a fan of Dragon Ball. And again, this just looks crazy. Majin Uub is born, and this Shadow Dragon is going to die. This is BlackScape signing off. Take care, guys.